with your head down. So I think we're now live. Thank you all for joining. This is Aya Sivijana speaking, and Aya Nyanika is here. And we're going to discuss a sutta that the Buddha spoke to monastics. It's a 10 reflections for one who's gone forth. But I remember as a lay person, we would recite this at the monastery I would be visiting. And there's a lot that applies to lay life. So you can just reinterpret it in a way that's applicable for you.
And feel free to have your cameras on or off. And
just know that if your camera's on, you're visible on YouTube, especially when you speak.
When you speak,
you'll show up. So if you don't mind that, so I'm gonna share the document that I and Yannicka and myself prepared. Let's see what I've got open. So this is, oops, got it on the wrong spot. That's this is 10 reflections for one who has gone forth. And I don't know why I don't have the sutta number. What's the, thank you. 1048. So if you want to look this up on your own, it's in the Anguttara Nikaya, or the numerical discourses in the tens, and it's number 48. And I have right here, Ajahn Sujato, Bhante Sujato. He doesn't like to be called Ajahn anymore. Bhante Sujato's translation, and we have a number of translations. We've got 3 to be exact.
It's a number.
Yes.
It's a good number.
So, but this also, when I chanted it at the monastery, I don't know what translation they had. I don't have that one posted.
Oh, Bhante Gunaratnas.
Oh, we have 3. We can be happy with 3. So we have right here, Bhante Sujata's, as I was saying, and we have 2 others to compare with later, but we could just read through this translation, and then we'll look at the other translations and start discussing them. So trying to move this out of the way. There's something, there it goes. It's so difficult for me to read. So when I was at Bayagiri Monastery, this was called Reflections for One Who Has Gone Forth. So people that might key somebody into that translation, which I don't have here. And this is Regular Reflections for Renunciate. And what I wanted to mention also is this concept of reflecting on a teaching is, it's one of the practices that both lay people and monastics should be doing. Not just the silent meditation, but thinking about the teachings. So these reflections are to look, this particularly is about behavior, our behavior. So we reflect, are we living up to this standard? Is there something way we can improve? Can we enjoy in the fact that we are doing well with this?
Mhm.
So you can reflect in those ways. Is this applicable to me as a layperson? Or how can I see it that I could work on my conduct through body, speech, and mind, that I can grow in the Dhamma. So this is the Buddha speaking to mendicants, but we can, I said, you can think of it for yourself as well if you're not in robes. One who has gone forth should often review these 10 things. One who has gone forth should often review this. I have secured freedom from class. We're going to go in detail about this, what that means after I just read this through. My livelihood is tied up with others. My behavior should be different. I hope there is no reason to blame myself when it comes to ethical conduct. And this is funny because he's got a question mark here, and Kachi Nukome, this is actually a question.
Mhm.
You're questioning yourself. So this is just how he's translated it. I hope that after examination, sensible spiritual companions don't reproach any aspect of my ethics. I must be parted and separated from all I hold dear and beloved. I am the owner of my deeds, heir to my deeds. Deeds are my womb, my relative, my refuge. I shall be heir of whatever deeds I do, whether good or bad. So this is all one. This is talking about karma. As the days and nights pass by, what sort of person am I becoming? This is another. Do I love to stay in empty huts? And the last one is, do I have any superhuman distinctions and knowledge and vision worthy of the noble one, so that when my spiritual companions question me on my deathbed, I will not be embarrassed. So this is some Pali terms. We're going to be looking at the Pali and English translations again, but this is Pabajita, and this is a monk monastic renunciant, renunciate, and then maybe we don't need to look at these yet. I should have, we can go down to the other translations, I think, because it's kind of out of so this is Ajahn Tanisaro's. Should we just go to the grid maybe?
Oh, I'm in the process of adding a column to the grid, but yes, you're certainly,
Oh, you're adding a column?
that's all right.
You've got 4?
I now have 4. I
Are you
don't,
done?
done,
Because
yeah, go
because
ahead.
this is Ajahn Tanisaro's, and he translates it as 10 things. And it's things. So 10 things that we should they just translated it as things. Subjects, things. So here you added, who have you added here?
Added the Amaravati chant book.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
I'll-
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So Yeah, so now we have four translations, and I think those who have gone to uh, like a Bayagiri monastery or Amaravati or any of the branch monasteries related to the Ajahn Chah tradition, they use this as their English translation to the Pali.
Yeah.
So this is you want to say it together? Way we oh
Deva.
oh you have just the extract there. Way we yang he aju pagatoti.
Oh,
Yes, it's just the
do
section
you,
of it.
do you
That's
just want
okay.
that part?
We can just do that part. Okay.
Okay.
We could do it next time. We didn't practice, obviously. So I have secured freedom from class. And Ajahn Tanisaro has, I have become casteless. And Bhante Bodhi says, I have entered upon a classless condition. And then I am no longer living according to worldly aims and values. And this is this is the Amaravati translation. So thank you. That's great because a lot of people are familiar with this one. So actually this way we on Nyanghi has to do with color. And at the time of the Buddha, like today, people are judged by their color. And because a dominant class comes in and they have a certain appearance and they think they're best. So this is what was happening at the time of the Buddha. And so the Buddha had, instead of having a class system where the dominant class was of a certain, like the Brahmin class, the Brahmins, and the ruling the wealthy warrior class, the Khatyas and the Brahmins were ruling over the others, and they did judge people according to their color. As well as just you would say, I'm of such and such a clan or class, or it wasn't exactly a strict caste system like it is in India. But when someone went forth at the time of the Buddha, they gave up their class. And the seniority was based on when you were ordained. So somebody from a so-called lower class could be senior to somebody from a so-called higher class in that society. They just threw it all out. And they weren't strictly hierarchical either, because they had a more they made decisions based on discussion and consensus to a certain extent, but they did respect their seniors. Do you have anything to add to that, IA?
No, I talked about this one last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
And I don't know who was there last week, but
the video's out there.
so, and then this next one, Haripata Bada Me Jivikati Pabajitena Abinham Pachawekita. So my livelihood is tied up with others. My life is dependent on others. Whoops, did we get a different one? My deportment should be different. That's
My deportment.
Did we miss something?
What?
I think we got it mixed up. This one should be,
Oh,
see, my living is dependent
yes,
upon
I
others.
switched those.
Okay.
Thank you for seeing that.
All right. And then my very life is sustained through the gifts of others. My life depends upon others. And I think anyone could see this is true, no matter whether you're working in the world or, I mean, because we're interdependent. And as monastics, we're dependent on alms food. But as a lay person, you could also see for yourself how we're dependent on people who are growing the food and, like, you know, whatever, however, who's built the houses and I mean, we have a part in all of that. Each one of us has a part, but we are really dependent on other people.
Mhm.
So, so to reflect on that, and yeah, for monastics, in a way, the Buddha said that we were like either like that we were beggars, so we were like the lowest of the low, but we were also treated like royalty. So when a person goes out with their alms bowl, they could be really disdained and spit upon, or people go out of their way to
Mhm.
give the monastics the finest food and lots of respect. And so uh, that can just make the mind, either if we're just in a situation where we're getting a lot of, like respect and people wanting to give us the best food and everything like that, we could get conceited, or we could be really distraught if we don't uh, aren't being respected. But it's kind of like life. It's kind of the part of the worldly winds. Either things go really well for us or not so well. So, I mean, you can use this just contemplating how we are dependent on others and not having even someone who's very capable or making a lot of money or whatever, there's still this interdependency, and we should um not let our egos get caught up on how much wealth we have or how much capacity we have, or feel bad because we're not as capable as we were. And like as you get older, things change. So we are tied up with others. We are dependent on others. So that's something to reflect upon. Um, do you have anything?
I mean, this is our alms round day, and that sense of the variability of it is definitely there. And I remember the first when I was walking with my alms bowl, and then suddenly hear Nimon, which is the invitation
In Thai.
in Thai.
Yeah.
And that the happiness that was mutually shared
Mhm.
there to be doing that. So it's a mutuality. The tying and dependency is in both directions.
Okay. Okay, here's the next one. Anyo mea kapo korinio pabajitena apinham pachawe kitabang. So this is my behavior should be different.
Different from what?
My behavior should be different from that of householders. My deportment should be different. I should strive to abandon my former habits. Okay, that's the Amarvati, and you have the Bhavana chat book added.
I did.
I must now behave in a different manner. So, I remember as a layperson, as a
I was just getting rid of the highlight. You remember as a layperson. Sorry,
I remember as a layperson that I started changing my behavior once I started taking my Buddhist practice seriously.
Yeah.
You know, you start by taking 5 precepts, you might give up using intoxicants. You start uh very early, I started to avoid killing any kind of living creature. So there's a 5 precepts which may change some people's behavior. They may already be keeping them. And then I just started becoming less interested in eating out and entertainment and stuff like that. And then I took 8 precepts as a layperson. I just became more and more renunciant. But I think our interests start to change and our what we do. I remember right when I moved to Ukiah to be near Bayagiri Monastery, I was driving through town and I saw Saturday night was a jazz night at the coffee shop. And in Ukiah, that was the only place there was live jazz that you could just go and see you know, you could just go to a coffee shop. And I was driving past there and I was thinking, earlier in my life, I would be going in Santa Cruz. I lived in Santa Cruz, California, and there was jazz. There was numerous coffee shops and jazz at any day of the week practically. And I would hang out there, and I wasn't doing that. I was choosing to go to the monastery to listen to Dhamma talk. So my life had, I mean, it naturally changed. As a monastic, you there's a monastic training that changes. You have to change your deportment. One of them says deportment. So how we appear in public. Uh, but I remember even as a lay person, and I was in Ukiah and I was going to the monastery frequently, people knew there was something different about me when at this place I was working. And at the end of the day, they were talking about going out for a beer or something like that. And they looked at me and they went, uh, we'd invite you, but I don't think you want to go, do you? And I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I mean, they just kind of knew I wouldn't be interested in going out to the bar,
Yeah.
going out for a drink. So there's something about, you know, some change in your behavior that's apparent to others, I think.
Well, and you get a real sense also of who it is you're really interconnected with.
Mhm.
Um, like when I was a layperson, we had the third Monday dinner club and would take turns picking restaurants. And I came back to visit the city as an Anagarika, the Dhamma community there, but I also went out with these friends and I said, but I can't go to a dinner. I mean, I don't eat dinner. And I thought maybe I would just sit there with a soda or something. And they said, oh, well, let's make it the third Monday lunch. You know,
Oh, that's nice.
and so they were able to adapt and
Hmm.
I remember how beautiful it was. One of the lawyers at the company was there and he said, tell me about these precepts. I want to tell my kids about it over dinner tonight. And so that interdependence, you really see who are your people.
Mm-hmm. So that relates to the other one too.
Yes.
Okay, so now, uh, we're going to Kachikome ata silato na upavadati pabachitena abinham pachawe kitabam. So this is Fonte Sujato's translation. I hope there's no reason to blame myself when it comes to ethical conduct. And this is what, so Other ones have changed it actually into a question. Can I fault myself with regard to my virtue? Do I reproach myself in regard to virtuous behavior? Does regret over my conduct arise in my mind? Does my mind upbraid me regarding the state of my virtue? That one sounds pretty harsh. Um,
I've
so
found useful though at times to like,
yeah,
oof.
so this is having to do with theory, where if we did something that we broke our precepts or we did things that we didn't feel like was quite right, then we have this conscience that says, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. So this is not to kind of really browbeat ourselves if we made a mistake, but just really to check. And the Dalai Lama said at the end of the day, this is a Buddhist practice, but at the end of the day, he just reflects back, is there anything that I did that I can regret, or can I rejoice in the good that I've done? And so you kind of could do a little assessment just to keep yourself on track more than make yourself feel bad or guilty, or that's not wholesome to just make yourself feel like you're a bad person. It's like, oh, is there some way I can correct, it's something that needs correcting, because it's not like we're instantly, some people had the misconception. I heard this one monastic, when she was very young, she ordained, and she thought when her head was shaved, she would just be letting go all of defilements. She'd just be perfect. She wouldn't. And then she found there were still unwholesome mental states arising in her mind. And, you know, she was still making mistakes, and she was just feeling awful. Like, I'm a monk. I'm not supposed to be behaving and thinking this way. And then it was like, other monastics said, no, no, don't worry. It's a process of purification. It's not gonna just instantly happen. So when anyone who takes the Dhamma seriously, and they want to uh, work with the teachings, and they're meditating, and they still find they're making mistakes, they not to feel bad, but just to help refine. It's more like a refinement.
Mhm. And it's says to reflect upon again and again. I mean, if we were one and done, then it wouldn't tell us to do it again and again, this reflection. And when we look at the precepts, it says this is a training to be observed. So this is not expected that you shave your head and are in perfect purity for,
Mhm.
that's why we have the community support, which we'll come to next.
Right. And if you've taken 5 precepts, or take 8 precepts for periods of time, and then you find that you're still making mistakes from time to time. This is like you can go to a friend
Yep.
and say, oh, I've made this mistake, or a monastic, if you're living near a monastery, and say, oh, I notice I'm still doing this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm really wanting to make an effort to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And you may get advice, or usually they're not gonna, most of us are not going to be doing something really horrible. It's just a little slip from time to time. Um, then the next one, this is oh, did you put the
Yeah.
thingy there? Okay. Kachinuko mam anui chavinyu sabrahmachari silato na upawadanti pabajitena abinham pachavekitabam. Excuse me. I hope that after examination, sensible spiritual companions don't reproach any aspect of my ethics.
Mm.
And can knowledgeable fellows in the holy life on close examination fault me with regard to virtue? And do my wise fellow monks, having investigated, reproach me in regard to virtuous behavior? Or could my spiritual companions find fault with my conduct? So mostly if we've done something, we know it ourselves and we will go to somebody and confess it if we've broken a minor precept or whatever precept we've broken. Mostly it's just little things. Uh, but also our spiritual companions should, if they notice that we're going astray, approach us and talk to us about it. And it's usually like, I saw that you were in the kitchen the 4 p.m. and it looked like you were
Making a sandwich.
making a sandwich. Was that true? And you'd say, yes, because after we have a rule that after solar noon, we're not supposed to be eating solid foods of certain kinds, most food.
Yeah, I'm pulling sandwich in as the example because of the Ajahn Brahm
There was a Anagarica that,
story.
yeah, he came and
He confessed.
the Anagarika came to Ajahn Brahm and confessed, and then Ajahn Brahm said, well, just use restraint in the future. And then the Anagarika said, uh, is that all? I don't get some kind of punishment for eating a sandwich in the afternoon? And then Ajahn Brahm says, okay, then 30 strokes of the cat. And the cat is in Australia was known as a cat of nine tails, a whip to punish, I guess. So that's in their culture. So he's a 30 strokes of the cat. And then Anagarika turned whiter than his robes. And then he said, go find Kitty and stroke him
30
30
times.
times. Anyway, so it was more funny how Ajahn Brahm told it. Anyway, so this again is not if we've done something or we're examining. This is there. Here is this one, though, our conscience and otapi is that we're doing something that would affect other people, especially. So yeah, if we're not keeping our precepts well, that's going to impact other people. There's a reason why there are these precepts, especially the 5 precepts. So if I'm lying or stealing or if I'm killing ants, it's harming the ants at the very least. But I'm making bad karma, bad karma
Yeah.
by harming other beings. So like I was saying, it's not so that to make us, I mean, it's foolish if we keep doing the same thing and just say, I'm a bad person, or feel really bad, or oh, I shouldn't do that, and just feel like rotten, but keep doing it. It's like, what's the point? Feeling guilty or feeling shameful and continuing the behavior, or punishing ourselves and then continuing the behavior. It's just more like, or other people are punishing us and we continue the behavior. It's like, no, it's not about negative reinforcement or enforcement of something. It's I'm just examining myself and am I keeping on track? Okay, so this one. Sabehi me piehi manapehi nana winapavoti pabajitena abinham pachawekita bang. I must be parted and separated from all I hold dear and beloved. I will grow different, separate from all that is dear and appealing to me. This is Ajahn Tunisaro's translation. I must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. This is Bhante Bodhis. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. That's the Amaravati version. And all that is mine, dear and delightful, will change and vanish. And this is from the Bhavana Society chanting book. I'm not sure if this
Yes.
may be
Yes.
Bhante Gunaratana's translation. So this one has to do with anicca. So yeah, just to reflect that at some time, anything we're attached, my beloved, my beloved cup will break sometime. I won't break my cup. Ajahn Chah said, the cup is already broken, but don't be careful. You don't want to intentionally break the cup. It doesn't mean you go around smashing your things. So yeah, so we have to anticipate that all that is dear to us will be, even like our health, the people in our lives. This all changes very suddenly. So when we reflect like this frequently, when something happens, then our hearts are prepared. It doesn't mean that it isn't going to be painful, but we're not going to say, "Oh, why me?" And you know, how could this happen? How could I be growing old? How can this happen? How can people die suddenly, and it can still be shocking, but still it helps prepare our hearts, and when it happens, some people might get angry and blame people. This is often a thing, especially with an accidental death or something like that. You want to find somebody to blame or whatever, So you're going to let go of all that kind of response. And you just reflect, oh, okay, this is the nature of things. And then also examining if I'm holding something dear, if I'm really attached to something, am I setting myself up for trauma once it's gone?
Mm-hmm.
Situations change, things in life get lost or stolen or broken or whatever. And so this prepares the heart. Pia, this word pia is dear or beloved, or what other ways have they translated it? Beloved, dear, delightful. This is a manapehi, that's a pleasing. And then nana bawo, that's bawo is existing, so it no longer exists. It's changed, it's gone. Winabo, it's changed. So we probably should keep going. Unless you had something, yeah, okay. Kama sakam hi kama dayada kama yoni kama bandhu kama patisarana yang kamam karisami kalyanam va papakam vada sadayada pavisami pabajitena abinham pachawe kitabam. I am the owner of my deeds. This is the karma. Heir to my deeds. My deeds are my womb, my relative and refuge. I shall be heir of whatever deeds I do, whether good or bad. I am the owner of my action or karma, heir to my actions, born of my actions, related through my actions. I have my actions as my arbitrator. Whatever I do, good or evil, that I will fall heir. I am the owner of my karma, heir of my karma. I have karma as my origin, karma as my relative, karma as my resort. I will be the heir of whatever karma, good or bad, that I do. So this is karma or karma. I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide, supported by my karma, whatever karma I shall do for good or for ill, of that I shall be heir. I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide, supported by my karma, whatever karma I shall do, whether good or evil, of that I shall be the heir. So this is kind of self-explanatory. It's this is karma is our action, and there's the karma vipaka, which is the result of our karma later on, and we may have direct karma vipaka, like if I have a hot thing on the stove and I grab it with a bare hand, I'm going to get burnt, right?
Pretty quickly, yeah.
Pretty quickly. So I'm harming myself. If I say harsh words to my friend, and they may get mad or they may get very hurt and walk, and I've hurt them and I've hurt myself. That can be pretty direct, but then there's indirect, and it's so we have to take responsibility. They all say owner at the top. Seems like a pretty universal translation of that one. So the owning it is that we're responsible for what we do. If I say something really mean to my friend, I have to own up that this is I did that. I hurt the other person. It's not their fault because they're not pleasing to me for some reason. They did something to me, so it's their fault. No, I have to own what I do. Heir to my deeds, so that the heir is that the direct or indirect, they'll be getting all upset with me and not wanting to speak to me again. I've heired. That's my inheritance from my action. My deeds are my womb, born of my action. So this in the future, it could be just this lifetime, but also if we're in the habit of being mean and nasty and terrible, what kind of a birth are we going to have? Are we kind, generous, wonderful? Then what kind of birth are we going to have? My relative and refuge, related to my actions, have actions as my arbitrator, as my resort. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I haven't gone one by one through each one of these, which would probably be a good thing. Do you have anything? Did you look at these different? aspects of karma?
I have, but I'd have to look at my notes to parse it out. So
Yeah.
maybe we do that with the 5 reflections at some point in the future.
Oh, we've done 5. But anyway, so
Here's a lot
in
of
the
this.
future, we will do that. Okay, karma as my resort, but it has to do with the immediately what and then so we reflect on uh what before we act, before we speak, before body, speech, and mind. Like even with the mind, if I'm reflecting, if I continue with this way of thinking, what will come of that? And then if I've acted or spoken, acted on that way of thinking, then I can start seeing the results of that action. But we can reflect back, or we can think to the future with this reflection. Is this action that I'm about to do a wise thing to do? So I think it's all pretty much encompassed in this. Is that your understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should probably keep going on this so we have some time at the end. Oopsie. Where are we? Kata. Whoops, am I miss?
Katang.
Oh, Katang Sameratin Diwali Tang Tang.
Sorry, I've got a headache, so I'm
Witi Watan Ti Jitena Abinham Pachawe Kita Bam. As the days and nights pass by, what sort of person am I becoming? I like that. What am I becoming as the days and nights fly by? How am I spending my days and nights? The days and nights are relentlessly passing. How well am I spending my time? This is really a good reflection. How do I spend my nights and days? So, like I was saying, the Dalai Lama looked back, said he did this, and this is a practice that's recommended to monastics. So anyone can do this at the end of the day. How well am I spending my time? Am I doing what I really feel I should be doing with my time? Am I wasting my time? Am I making good use of this life? So I'm not going to spend a long time on that one because we're getting low on time. Kachinuko aham sunyagare abhiramamiti pabajitena abinham pachavekitabam. Do I love to stay in empty huts? Do I delight in an empty dwelling? I love this one. Do I delight in empty huts? Do I delight in solitude or not? Do I delight in solitude? So Sunyagare is an empty dwelling place. And I love this word, abhiramami. This is delighting, or this lightness of heart, this brightness of heart. And so seeing this as solitude, because you can find solitude in a room, or even if you're in a group and you're meditating together. There's kama viveka, which is the physical seclusion, and then there's chitta viveka, which is internal. Chitta is the mind. So a deeper state of seclusion in the mind. So is this something that I'm seeking out for myself, this time to myself to meditate, to find seclusion, to reflect? And then I think we'll just keep going with it because Achinuko me utari manusadamo Alla Maria Jnana Dasana Vive So Adigato Yena Ham Pachime Kale Sabrahmachari Udo Napanko Pavisamiti Abhajitena Abinham Pajawe Kitabam.
I realize we're chanting, we pasted this in from the Sutta Central's Pali.
Oh, and we're used to a
And we're
different,
used to the canon that came through Sri Lanka.
oh, okay,
And
so
so
that's why,
there's a few subtle,
okay, yeah,
yeah, because I've caught a few subtle differences.
okay, yeah. I'm kind of doing, those print is small too for me to be reading the
Mhm.
Polly, so. So anyway, so do I have any superhuman distinctions in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble one so that when my spiritual companions question me on my deathbed, will I not be embarrassed? So this is kind of the pressure of being a monastic where we're supposed to really be doing the work here. And have I attained superior human attainment, a truly noble distinction of knowledge and vision, such that when my fellows in holy life question me in the last days of my life, well, I won't feel abashed. Have I attained any superhuman distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble one, so that in my last days I will not, when I am questioned by my fellow monks, I will not feel embarrassed. Has my practice borne fruit with freedom or insight so that at the end of my life, I need not feel ashamed when questioned by my spiritual companions? Have I gained superhuman knowledge, which can be specially known to noble ones, so that later, when I am questioned by fellow bhikkhus, I will not be embarrassed. So this, a monastic cannot go around proclaiming if they've made any kind of attainment. And but the spiritual companions, actually, Bhante Gunaratana said we should question one another. And it's kind of like trying to keep the bar higher for us as monastics, that we're not kind of sloughing off, but really applying ourselves to the practice. And so it might sound kind of harsh, but I think it's more just kind of an incentive, what a little added incentive. But the incentive really should be that we do wish for, I mean, that's why we went forth into monastic life. We want to apply ourselves to the knowledge and potential knowledge and freedom that the Dhamma can offer us if we apply ourselves. So they say in AA it works, keep coming back, it works, and then somebody else says, if you work it, only if you work it.
Yeah.
Okay, here I wanted to just point out, we were talking about the 5 subjects for frequent recollection, or that's called themes. A Pali word translated as themes. So this is AN 5.57, if you want to write this down. And this is for a man or woman, a layperson or renunciant should review these 5 subjects frequently. This is and then there's, out of the 5, I am liable to grow old, I am liable to get sick, I'm liable to die. I must be parted and separated from all I hold beloved. And then the reflection on the karma, I'm the owner of my deeds heir to my deeds, and so on. These two are included in these. There's that overlap.
Mhm.
And I think the first three relate to this one here. I must be parted and separated from all I hold dear and beloved. But this is really explicitly saying, don't be surprised. If you're young, you're going to get old. If you live long enough, so on. And everybody's experienced sickness and know they'll die. But we want to avoid thinking about these things. But it's a wholesome way of holding it. So I just wanted to share, this is another reflection. It's that we can look at.
Mhm.
And these are the 10, which has to do more with looking at a conduct.
Mhm. I recommend, had several people post them on the refrigerator and look at them in the morning. When I was at Aranya Bodhi, I had a walk down from my kuti, and I would recite this every morning on my walk down.
Mm.
It's at least for me, it was a good reminder every single day.
I'm going to stop the screen share.
Yeah.
There we go. So I'm going to put it on gallery view, and we have a few minutes if there's a question. Hello. So does anyone have a question?
Rachel.
I have a hand. This is
Rachel.
Rachel? Yes? Yes, Rachel. Please unmute yourself.
Do you have your sound on? I make that mistake. Come on. All right. Please say it again. Oh,
Oh, you
no,
may be muted. I don't know.
still not hearing. Here, I'm going to turn mine on. Okay. Try again, Rachel. Now mute yourself. Still not hearing. Stop mine. Go ahead and turn your sound back up.
It's up.
Okay, yeah. Maybe type something into the chat and we can read it for you. Sorry about that. It's tech. Well, anyone else?
Oh,
there we go. I want to
oh,
say how wonderful it was and to have both of you on today. The chanting was delightful. Yeah, maybe I could post the full chant somewhere. Eventually, we're going to have some of the chants on our
well,
website.
it looks like Kat was coming on. Kat, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just surprised by the last one because it seems to point to maybe the superhuman things that maybe the Buddha was able to do. So I was just wondering, are you guys aiming for levitation or mind reading?
Oh, they're talking about what the last, I guess the Amaravati one says the freedom and insight.
Hmm.
These are really, it is a superhuman when you have awakening.
Yeah.
There's the knowledges, the binyas, and the best one is the knowledge of the destruction of the taints, and that's the
Mhm.
one that leads to complete liberation. So as long as we're in a human state, that's an ordinary human state, it's like we could say superior human state.
Exactly. Utri means higher or
Higher.
superior. So better than the human run of the mill could be
Right.
another.
So we're mucking, as long as we're mucking around in the defilements, we're still an ordinary human being.
Hmm.
And I think when you look at the way that reflections are, um, we're just kind of ordinaries, and we're still trying to look back and say, oh, did I blow it today? Can I remember something that oh yeah, that I didn't really say the truth that time when I was speaking to so-and-so. I kind of bent the truth a little bit or quite a bit there or something. And so it's good to look back and think about that. But then if you've attained a superhuman state where you're not even worried about it because you've destroyed the taints, the asawas are completely, the defilements are completely gone. And then the um, freedom and knowledge is what they're really talking about here. It's
Well,
not,
maybe, like I just got off retreat and you notice pretty quickly, like kind of getting back into the same ruts that maybe you were in before. But you notice on retreat how differently the mind can settle, and how differently you can be more aware and be more open. And so I can totally see that. Like I just think it's funny, like to picture, like, working on the really supernatural things. Because I mean, there have been monastics who have been known to have that. So I just don't know how you train in levitation or um,
You
you
can,
know,
I don't, you can, there are trainings for that, but they're generally not recommended until you like completed the path. So
ah,
not many of us are really working on that.
yeah.
it's not really that. The Buddha said the only ones that are really useful is just the destruction of the taints.
Yep.
And then it talks about the jhanas are considered also Uttara Manusa.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And you're not supposed to mention those attainments to lay people, because if you're attaining that, you could work on the supernormal powers of reading people. And these things are kind of side effects of really deep states of
Hmm.
meditation. And some people have inclinations to them. And in my mind, I think to a limited degree, the ordinary person has a certain amount of uh, the ability to know other people's minds,
Hmm.
to have an intuition, but it's more haphazard.
Yeah.
Like I'll be thinking about somebody that I haven't seen for months, and suddenly they call, or suddenly they appear at the door. And for some people that happens a lot.
Hmm.
But it isn't like, oh, I went to the forest refuge, and the taxi driver, he's a real character. And so I I was just taking my walk, and I was walking out to where the cars do come in, down the driveway you can walk. And he pulls up with a carload of people, right? And and then so that the first time it's just kind of funny. I see him, and he's all excited to see me because he just let me off a couple days. It's a 2-hour drive, and you have a long conversation with them. And I'm just, okay, I'm trying to keep silence and we'll keep going. And then the next day I go out at some time, and he's pulling in again. And then it's just like, okay, I think maybe did I sense him coming? Like,
Come
and he said, what? He's like, why am I seeing you again? And then these kind of things happen with people where some reason you keep, even though it's a different time of day or whatever, you keep meeting them. And I think that there is some kind of I call it a psychic connection with people. Like some people, and it's not like intentional. Like if I thought, Tony is coming, I am going to go out there at this time, that would be like a superhuman ability, right? And that could be developed. If I wanted to develop that, to know, like,
when the taxi.
where is Neonica now? Something like that.
It'd be good. Just put a tag on me, an air tag.
No, now we have these cell phones and things like that, so it's all like, who cares anymore, right? But no, it has something to do with the ability in meditation and knowledge and vision, specifically deep insight. So that's what that is. It's not the other abhinyas, which is like a divine eye or divine ear, or knowing the minds of others, knowing karma. This comes with awakening.
Yeah.
If you can understand karma, you understand your past lives and karma, and like it's kind of a side effect, but it's important. It's like kind of, or even if you have kind of a sense of karma, I think people can have that kind of sense of past lives and things like that. And that helps just kind of affirm, yeah, the Buddha's talking about rebirth, and I should pay attention to that teaching because it's related to, this is the karma, we're born to our karma. So what this birth we have now, we have a fortunate human birth, and we're the fortune of having the Dhamma in our lives.
Well, and
And
that deep wisdom, like, does kind of feel supernatural when you look at the vast majority of the planet. So it
yeah,
does feel a little supernatural. Thank you.
we should probably close because a little bit, so people can stay on if they want to stay on, and we'll do the closing homage now. Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namassam Supatipanno Bhagavato Sangha Sangho Sangham Namami. So thank you all on YouTube for joining. We're gonna, it's changed again. How do we get out? Usually,
Go, yeah, shall I?
yeah.
There.
Oh.
I